Hey guys, Josh here, and in this video I'll be sharing with you some very useful shortcuts that you may not know about yet in Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, as well as some tips and tricks to keep in mind while foraging and mining, so that you can find as many materials as possible at all times. Before we jump into the main content of this video, there are two things I would recommend getting as early as possible. First is the glider, which will be given to you by the nature sprites the morning of your first rank 2 Bazaar, so most likely your second Saturday in the game. Then there's the double jump, which you can buy from Felix for 10,000 G from your first Bazaar. With these, you will be able to make the most out of what I'll be sharing in this video. Leave a like if you learned something new, and let's begin. Alright, so one of the first things this game will teach you when you unlock the glider is how certain places can only be reached with strong enough winds, like this area where the sprites live, where you can get when the wind is at least level 2. Actually, that is not 100% accurate. You can go there even with a level 1 wind, not level 0 but level 1, and here's how you do it. Jump on this barrel as usual, open your glider, and your goal is to glide up on this tree where the mushrooms are. As I was practicing and learning how to do it, I fell into the water many times, and more often than not, my mistake was that I was moving too much. The cliff might make it seem like you have to go around, but actually where you have to go is almost in a straight line. This will be difficult if you're playing on mouse and keyboard, but if you're playing with a controller, just push the stick to the right, then move it down as little as you possibly can, so that you're almost going completely straight, but not quite. Keep gliding until you get caught in the corner with the mushrooms, and your character will slide up onto the cliff. It is tricky, requires some practice, but after you get it right a few times, it does become easier and you will deserve these few extra hours. If you were hoping for something more beginner-friendly, less frustrating, here's another trick that is almost just as good. So when you're at the top of the mountain, you will typically jump down back here where there might be a few more ores and things to dig up. But did you know that you can get to this area even without having to go up the mountain? Even if there is no wind at all, come to this spot near the fountain. I like to do it where the ID is, just as a visual reference. If the plant can climb, so can I. So here you want to double jump. On your second jump, hold down the jump button as if you wanted to open your glider. And as soon as you see the little particle effects of the glider and you feel it opening, let go of the button and this backflip will bring you just high enough to get on the hill. It is very important to be quick here, because as soon as the glider is fully out, you will start losing momentum. This trick might take you a few attempts to get it right, but once you know the proper timing, it's really not too bad, and also you don't risk falling into the water. There is an easier but longer way to get to this hill, and that is by gliding from the roof of the hotel. Now let's go to the mountain area where there is one spot that took me quite some time to find, and it is this island in the middle of the pond. Simply go between this tree stump and the waterfall, double jump, and there you will have a few ores and maybe a mound of dirt. You don't even need the glider. In fact, opening it will make it very hard to reach the island, but you can of course use it on your way back. However, the situation is different on stormy days, when I originally thought crossing the water was impossible, because the wind is so strong and pushes you in the opposite direction. But it turns out that using the same technique as earlier, the glider backflip, you can cross the water. You do have to position yourself properly. I like to run against the tree stump for support, then I aim for the corner of the island. It is a bit tricky because the wind is pushing against you, but there is often valuable stuff there, so it is a trick worth learning. Still in the mountain area, this one is a bit more obvious, but if you jump on this barrel and glide to the right, you can reach this place that also has the more valuable ores. For some reason, I got into the habit of double jumping from the ledge of the cliff, which is very fast and convenient most of the time, but when the wind is at level 1, it can get a bit difficult. If you just simply use the barrel though, you should be able to make it easily, so it might seem obvious to a lot of people, but I thought I would point that out in case you were making the same mistake I did. Now that you know how to access the most difficult areas, here are some tips you should know about mining and foraging in general. First, even though the ores you find in town and the ones you find in the mountains may look similar, they are actually different. For example, the gold nodes in town have a chance of dropping ruby, while the ones in the mountain can drop emerald, and the ones in the equestrian park can drop amethyst. So if you find yourself unable to get a particular gemstone, or you don't know why you keep getting the same stuff over and over again, it might be because you're always mining at the same place. I will put a chart on the screen that tells you where to find what along with their drop rates. Feel free to pause the video, take a screenshot, whatever you have to do if you want all the details. I took this data from the official Japanese guidebook, so unless they update the game to change any of it, this should be very accurate. It is also important to note that the location and types of ores that you find change with the seasons. To put it very simply, it goes in order from worst to best, so in spring it will be difficult to find other things than copper, and in winter that is when you'll find more aurichalcum, mithril, diamonds, and so on. By the way, once you have the purple Wonderstone, which you can buy from Felipe after reaching Bazaar rank 5 and setting up his shop, there will be so many things to craft with these more valuable ores and gemstones, and you will need a ton of them. So when you're in your first winter and all of a sudden you're getting all of these diamonds, do not take them for granted, as they will become hard to find again as soon as spring comes back. So save them or craft with them if you can, but don't miss out on them. Try to go mining twice a day during winter. And I say twice a day because resources in this game respawn at 5 PM every day. Also, do not underestimate the importance of leveling up your nature sprites. That goes for all of them, but for the context of this video, especially Ivy. For example, a 0.5 stars pink diamond is worth 30,000 G, which is not bad at all. But look at this one, that's 6.5 stars, not even the maximum of 7 yet, but it's already worth 75,000, more than double its base value. Make a pink brooch with it and you're close to 140,000. Add to that the price up buffs from your stall, any bonus from trends or your cheer squad, and you will be making so much money. Something else to keep an eye out for in winter and in summer is the storms. The day following a storm, there's always going to be a ton more ores, as well as lumber and forageables like nuts on your farm and everywhere else. So I would make foraging a priority on those days. Again, resources respawn at 5 PM, but in regular amounts, so if you want to make the most out of it, get everything before 5 and then go back in the evening. If you're running low on time, don't worry too much as the extra resources from the storm will stay even after 5 PM. It's not the worst if you can't go twice, but the day after that, everything will disappear and then you will truly miss out. So these are a few tips and tricks you should know about foraging and mining in Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. Did you manage to glide your way to these mushrooms? You can glide your way to the comments section to let me know how it went. Also, please tell me if you have any questions about this game, as I am planning a ton more guides and tips videos. Leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.